What's up, Global Village? Okay, I'm feeling agitated, and that means only one thing, that it's time for me to break out the camera and just talk it out. Get it out of my system. Uh, in this particular instance, what has me kind of all riled up is the conviction of the Palestine Action Group members in the UK and how they have been labelled officially terrorists and of violating terrorism laws. Now, I think we can all agree there are crimes and there are crimes. So, is breaking into a weapons factory and defacing and doing material damage to the weapons and the equipment, the manufacturing plant, is that a criminal offence? Well, yeah, it probably is. Under the strict letter of the law, they've committed some kind of crime. The issue here is that they are not being convicted of committing a crime, breaking and entering or damaging private equipment, blah, blah, blah. No, they're being convicted of a very, very serious crime. Apparently, they are terrorists, which we should all be very scared of. Now, the reason this pisses me off so much is that for a long time now, the whole concept of the terrorists has been a subverted narrative that has been used by Western imperialism to create, to conjure an image and a caricature of evil against people, groups, countries that themselves could be argued to be fighting against terrorism. And I think there is no better example of that than in Palestine. Because regardless of how you feel about Hamas, what happened to the greater Palestinian people in Gaza, and indeed before there ever even was such a thing as Hamas, has been a form of straight-up terrorism. When the Israeli state was established, it resulted in the displacement of some 750,000 Palestinians, many of whom were forced into Gaza as their homes and villages were stolen from them. And many of these villages today no longer exist because they were bulldozed over, wiped off the face of the earth, as Israel attempted to erase them from history. So yeah, you can label people who fight back against this sort of imperial colonialist project and call them terrorists. But does that really make them so in a true and authentic definition of the word? In my opinion, it is a blatant and obvious no. And yes, you can convict these people of committing a crime, but you may well also wish to argue that they did so in opposition of a far, far greater crime. The crime of crimes, the crime of genocide. Now, it's possible someone listening to this video thinks that what Israel is doing is not genocide, and you may have arguments why you think that, and you're entitled to present those arguments. But I don't think there is any way you can seriously justify labeling, someone who just holds up a flag saying, I support Palestine Action, and claim that they are now terrorists or terrorist supporters and should be convicted of a crime for doing that. This is not just authoritarianism. This is straight up dystopia. And the fact that this is happening in the UK, that they have weaponized the so-called crime of terrorism to basically silence what I believe is completely justified and certainly legal, someone's legal right to oppose and to speak out against what they believe is genocide being conducted by Israel. Well, this is not the world that I thought we lived in. You know, here in the West, we sure do like to boast about the fact we have free speech. That, unlike, I don't know, a more authoritarian country, for example, say Russia, where if you speak out against the government, you might go on a list, you might even get arrested and thrown in jail. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. Or at least it's what's happening in the UK. And, you know, I wouldn't be so surprised if New Zealand isn't too far away from moving in that general direction. After all, we seem to just kind of copy what all the other countries are doing. We just lag a few years behind. Anyway, I don't know. I was just really irritated by what's going on here, and what I think is the supreme injustice that's happening to these people who, in my opinion, were nothing but incredibly brave. Did they break a law? Yes, sure, they did. Convict them of a crime, breaking and entering, whatever. But convicting them of terrorism it has a motivation far beyond the execution of justice. It is a dystopian, authoritarian clampdown on the right for people to oppose what I believe is, motivated by conscience, by a need to see justice done for those who are being denied justice and for those who are having terrible crimes perpetrated against them. Anyway, I don't know if that makes me feel better, but I just wanted to blow off some steam and get this out because it bothers the living fuck out of me for all the good it will do to create and post this video. All right, bendy out.